This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
PayPal lets you pay all your pals, like your graduation gifters.
Who's paying for the mattress topper?
You mean the beanbag chair?
Aren't we getting a mini fridge?
Can we create a pool on PayPal? It lets us collect the money before we buy.
Ooh, yes, that's smart.
Glad we can agree on something.
Easily pool, split, and send money with PayPal. Get started in the PayPal app. A PayPal account is required to send and receive money. A balance account is required to create a pool.
Want to pull off the season's freshest trends? You just need the right shoes. That's where Designer Shoe Warehouse comes in. Loving wide leg jeans? Pair them with sleek, low-profile sneakers. Obsessed with the sheer trend? Try it with mesh flats. Feeling boho? Comfy sandals nail the whole free-spirited thing. Find on-trend shoes from the brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at DSW.
Catch the new Hulu original comedy Mid-Century Modern from the creators of Will and Grace, executive producer Ryan Murphy, and director James Burrows. When three best friends move in together, Palm Springs will never be the same. They're fun, they're fabulous, and they're turning life's lemons into spiked lemonade. Shake up a batch of cocktails, relax by the pool, and get ready for some serious shade. Mid-Century Modern stars Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, Nathan Lee Graham, and Linda Lavin. All episodes of Mid-Century Modern are now streaming on Hulu.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. And as always, when you're hearing about Vikes Bites, you're always hearing me talk about Matt and the folks in Clearwater, Minnesota, Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. Thank you so much to them for supporting Vikes Bites in 9 to noon. But being NFL draft season, specifically, what are the Purple going to do a week from tomorrow, as you heard PA last segment? Well, draft coverage is brought to you by our buddies at Heating and Cooling 2. Heating and Cooling 2. And you can learn more and book your service. Just go to heatcool2.com. Heatcool2.com.
And thank you very much for the draft-related sponsorship. I touched on this earlier. We've mentioned it the last couple of days. But if you're interested in going to the Minnesota Vikings draft party a week from tomorrow at U.S. Bank Stadium, we have a promotion running right now called Show Us Your Purple Preset. It's a social media-related contest. Show Us Your Purple Preset. And what you do is take a screenshot of KFAN as a preset on your iHeartRadio app. And then you post that screenshot on your social media channels at KFAN1003 is to be tagged, also using hashtag KFAN Purple Preset. And winners will be drawn daily. So we're looking to give you some ducats, some tickets, some comps to the Minnesota Vikings draft party at U.S. Bank Stadium a week from tomorrow. And it's simple. All you have to do is show us your purple preset. Now, when it comes to the National Football League draft a week from tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, super cool, a lot of fun. We love the draft and round one of the draft. Nordo and Sauce are at the auto show this weekend, I believe from noon until 2.
Yeah.
Doing a draft-related show, so stop by and say hi to that dynamic duo.
Don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals, ain't no doubt about that. And don't put any diesel in a non-diesel car, you hear me? But when it comes to the division rivals, you know, there can be a metaphorical thorn. No, it's Easter week, 3-2. There can be a metaphorical fly in the proverbial ointment.
Bee in a bonnet?
Of the National Football League draft, the bee in the bonnet.
What is this, 1940?
If the adversaries get exactly who they want and when they want them. We're talking about to wit. The Bears select 10th, the Packers 23rd, and the division champs at 28. Now, it's not like the purple and gold dreams would be crushed if this stuff happens, but like for the Chicago Bears, all right, they started 10. I mean, just low-key, I think it'd be kind of cool if they were not able to attain this guy.
Going to keep it on the ground with Genty on second and 10. Look at him tacklers. Genty with some room. Genty has the speed. You call it long speed. We call it a touchdown. Ashton Genty.
Ashton Genty.
You like that?
No, I don't like that.
You like that?
Ashton Genty, Boise State University. He's a running back. Beloved Ben needs a running back. Beloved Ben needs a running back. Ben Johnson, he already cut DeAndre Swift once when he was with Detroit, and he might be in love with Boise State's Ashton Genty behind his newfangled offensive line. I mean, I'd imagine he'd try to use him like Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit, but Genty also can be used this way, banging between the tackles like Ben did with David Montgomery and the Motor City Kitties. So it'd be really sweet if the old Chicago Bears were sniped, not only all draft, but especially here with Ashton Genty, or maybe LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell. That wouldn't be cool either. Jacksonville, the Raiders, calling out to you now. You need a lot, but you could really use both of these guys. And Genty and or Campbell for the Jags, the Raiders, the Giants, oh my, whomever. That would be super duper sweet. Nordo's on the same page with me when it comes to functioning snipeability, and he's hoping the Bears are not able to attain this guy.
Missouri's Armand Membo at the Combine talking about how teams view him.
I mean, almost every team has asked, like, how I view myself but at the same time, I think most of them think that I could play tackle if they needed me to.
I'm with you on that.
Any scheme?
It don't matter. Just suit me up.
Yeah, well, you're going to be suiting up, Armand, and you were an absolute earth mover at Missouri. The problem that I have is I don't want you in the windy city. If anything, maybe twice a year for another team. The thing, I don't know what it is, but he hit me in the YouTube highlights I was watching a couple of weeks ago when we were looking, hey, what to do at 24? Are there some O-lineman of the day type candidates? He's become one of my favorite players in the draft that I wish would fall to the purple. The guard tackle thing has been a talker with him because of his height and length, but he's a badass and a mean O-liner. And you look at the Bears, clearly Ben's focus, and maybe Ashton Genty is the cherry on top of this, but you get Tooney in the mix. You get the center out of the Falcons via free agency, Jonah Jackson from the Rams. But Tooney and Jackson, it feels like to me specifically, those are short timers. And I like the Bears having a bad O-line. Them having a bad O-line ruins their run game. Yeah. It ruins Caleb's day.
Yeah.
It's a great bit that the Bears have an awful O-line.
And they start second-guessing the beloved Ben deal and how long it is and how much cash he got.
Correct. You know how much less prep work we have to do on a weekly basis when it's, Tevin Jenkins is a turnstile.
Yeah.
Next, we can just move on versus how we're going to beat these guys in the trenches. And Armand Membo, he's slated in this area. I've seen him at 12 to the Cowboys. I've actually seen him a spot or two higher in a couple of mocks. But you mentioned Will Johnson. That's another name, the LSU cat. Please no.
Yeah.
Please do not do that.
Same.
And so when you're going down there are two spots specifically with the Bears that it's not going to ruin our day. We're going to get up. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful world that we get the opportunity to live in and enjoy while we're here. But the fact of the matter remains, if the Bears do secure Ashton Genty, that's a Ben Johnson special right there. We saw him doing it with Gibbs in Detroit, and he's going to try and do it again in Chicago. We know that it is inevitable. One way to get that done with that moving company he had in Motown, he can do that by constructing his own, as he's already tried to do via free agency. It wouldn't ruin my day, but I would be incredibly frustrated about what the future holds in the trenches against that offensive line if they were to take Mr. Membo out of Missouri, this 6'4", 330-pound tackle/guard at pick 10 in the draft.
9 to noon is marathoning.
Super Bowl, homeboy.
Thanks to Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. We have a big customer appreciation day coming up May 2nd. You'll learn more about that via 9 to noon soon. But go to stevesappliances.com. A dear friend of mine bought a Maytag dryer yesterday and saved a lot of money. Got free delivery, free installation, the whole thing.
Did he do that immediately after our dryer conversation with Ben Gessling?
Yes, and right after he left the radio station in St. Louis Park and just headed north to the old Maytag Central. stevesappliances.com, stevesappliances.com. Love these people at Steve's Appliances.
I feel you.
All right, so doom drafting, divisional doom drafting. Who brings doom? If they happen to get what they want when they want in round number 1.
It's a long year. Everybody just relax. It's going to be all right.
Well, let's move on to it's the Lions. It's the Lions, Doogie. And personally speaking, I'm really hoping they don't end up with this guy.
Kincaid Dent getting heated up, trying to step out of trouble, and he can't. He's swallowed up. Michael Williams, freshman All-American last year with the sack.
Couldn't avoid the soundtrack underneath. Sorry about that. This is a call out, by the way. Just Bombs Productions via YouTube. Elite highlights with the game call and no music soundtrack. Did this person disappear? I've been relying on Just Bombs for 12 years to find highlights without songs underneath. I digress.
I'm hoping the Lions are not reliant upon this Georgia defensive lineman, Michael Williams. They picked 28th, all right? Geez, holy cow. I wonder if a Georgia defensive lineman is going to make an impact in the National Football League.
I always love that one.
Most don't just play, they penetrate, and they produce, including this Michael Williams, who, quite honestly, I couldn't pick out of a 2-person lineup 3 days ago standing next to Rick Barry.
I always love that one.
But for the sake of the bit and putting this together, now I know a little too much about him. He's an edge guy from Georgia. He's a defensive lineman. He's multifaceted. Now, let's not forget, the team to beat in the division is getting back defensive line stud Aiden Hutchinson. All right? They lost him right before they beat the Vikings at U.S. Bank Stadium. And this guy, Williams, I think he's the perfect bookender to Aiden Hutchinson. And here's why. Because Williams, a Georgia defensive lineman, geez, those guys are always really bad in the National Football League. Okay. Aiden Hutchinson bookended by Williams, who's high end against the run. Very, very tough to move at the line of scrimmage. Very tough against the run. And I think the pass rushing prowess is going to improve. Why? Aiden Hutchinson. Because he gets all the attention. So at 28, there are teams all around there like Green Bay at 23. I mean, they need pass rush. I mean, everybody needs pass rush. All right? So I think everybody in the National Football League ahead of pick number 28 should strongly consider Michael Williams, a defensive lineman from Georgia. He of the rough and tumble variety, but we'll see what happens at 28. What do you have up your sleeve?
Well, I'm excited. Pete Bursich's second video as part of his show might be breaking down edge rushers into the draft. So I went the exact same direction. I have a different name. It is this guy.
Play with quick tempo. Uyunglele can't avoid the sack. Down he goes. Donovan Ezaraku with a big sack for BC back outside the 10.
Donovan Ezaraku might rock you and sock you as he did during his career at Boston College. And similar mindset here, PA. Mr. Ezaraku had 16 and a half sacks in 2024 for the BC Eagles. And he had 6 multi-sack games. Now, with the Kitties, I've mentioned they got this Jonah Savanea cat out of Arizona, the Polynesian Punisher. He could be a guard that could work for them. On the other end, I think that they do get them a playmaker to pair with a healthy Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, you look, Marcus Davenport, after the Vikings failed miserably trying to make that work, the Lions just went ahead and fell on that grenade. I think he's still on the team, but you just can't rely on the guy. Aiden Hutchinson, who played in 5 games last year, PA, led the team with 7.5 sacks when he was injured. He led the team in sacks after the season ended.
Wow.
Zadarius
great nugget
ain't the answer, but their inability and this isn't just, you mentioned specifically against the run, but you're talking about creating pressures. It's a similar conversation we've had about the Vikings. Is the sack numbers are gaudy, the sack numbers are sweet, but can we be more productive potentially on the interior of the D line in terms of generating pressure, forcing guys off their spot, which they actually may even translate to more productivity from your Grenard and Van Ginkel style. The Lions as a team had 37 sacks. I think that was 23rd or 24th in the NFL. And so when you get the Hansy, Terrion Arnold types, when you're thinking about how that secondary potentially, which has a ton of talent, but when good can become great, which can become elite, you can help out your guy into his second year. You can help out Brian Branch. You can help these guys out by being super productive up front. And, whether it's Mykel Williams, I haven't looked a ton at him, but George Equity, that's sweet. I've seen another name, Mike Green, not totally familiar with his game, but that's sweet. And then Ezeraku, I've seen him go as high as, I think the Chargers are at 21, 22, somewhere in that area. I think 22. Maybe he goes there to replace Bosa, but if he's available at 28 and the Lions pick him, I'm not mad at it from a pragmatic fitting pieces into puzzle standpoint. I'm mad at it because just like we were talking about with the Bears, this is a guy that's going to annoy us and frustrate us potentially for the next freaking decade.
Yes.
And so for Campbell's bunch, if they go O-line, makes sense. If they go D-line, it totally makes sense. They need more productivity up front. Now, here's one thing I saw about Ezeraku, though. I saw him comped as being, he plays a lot like Yannick Ngakoue, PA. So he
got some one-trick pony to him.
Well, that's the thing, though. He might have 15 sacks in a season.
Right.
Jordan Mason, though.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason. We know exactly how to game plan against Ezeraku if he's awful against the run.
That North Carolina running back the Vikings are taking in the first round might have 175 in the first half on that guy.
Marion Hampton, loose.
And he's loose.
But Ezeraku's a guy that, based off of his college career, ton of respect for, would totally make sense, would frustrate Vikings fans if he lives to said potential out of BC.
Well done. Well done. And the Sultan of Smug, David Sinykin.
Yeah, I might punch him in the face.
He's going to help us at 10:30 with the Green Bay portion of the equation. Super special Cinny.
Yeah, I might punch him in the face.
At TC Head Cheese.
Yeah, I might punch him in the face.
On to the Green Bay Packers.
You can't talk that way and take it seriously.
So what about the Pack? 23 right in front of us. 23 right in front of us. Oh, goody. How convenient is that? How convenient is that for this secondary bit?
Because he's a homer. He doesn't totally has a homer.
Personally, you know what? You did such a good job with that breakdown of the Detroit Lions divisional doom drafting bit.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and start Green Bay?
Yeah, no problem at all. This guy can create problems for us and great memories for them.
Seems to have very good command of this offense.
Gets it out quickly, but makes a pick. It's intercepted. Jahdae Barron makes the kind of takeaway Texas needed.
Jahdae Barron, he's 5'11", $195 out of Texas. He's a Longhorn officer, but guys, go crazy. Super versatile corner, really physical at the line. Almost sounded the things that I've read on him, where he's kind of like Xavier Rhodes, where he has to practice with boxing gloves to stop grabbing at the line. But really productive, 8 picks in his career, 5 alone his senior year. Had both a pick and fumble touchdown in his career, the 2022 season specifically. All-American level equity for him. The Sultan of Smug, we're going to hear from him shortly. And everyone can try and tell us or sell us, Nate Hobbs and Nixon and Valentine. Oh, my. Come on. Jair probably isn't going to be on the roster much longer. They need a corner. So yesterday we were doing dealer's choice and talkbacks. That's kind of why I brought up the snipe factor yesterday. Sitting at 23, Vikings at 24. And is there a player the Pack took at 23 that send you into a fit as a Vikings fan? You were sniped because they took XYZ player.
Yep.
So Kenneth Grant or a beefeater as Kenny Clark gets older, TJ Slayton no longer in the mix. We talked about that. How much do they love Sean Ryan and Zach Tom on the right side of that O-line? Is Rasheed Walker their long-term left tackle. Pack fans, green and gold, cheeseheads. We'll ask the Sultan about that next segment. But they can go 3 or 4 directions for that stupid team and get a really cool player at 23. And for me, I'm looking as it stands right now. Future focused, maybe O-line, D-line, but the right now filling spaces with high-end potential and high-end talent to win games now with Jordan Love on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's a corner, and I think there's a really nice crop of them, and Jahdae Barron might be among the best of them in the draft. I would be super annoyed, PA, if the Packers had picked 23, not even to snipe the purple, but just in their own right are able to sit there, stick and pick, and find a guy that can make plays potentially as early as week 1 for the green and gold. And I think that might be Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas.
I love that. I hate that. I love that, but I hate that.
In your face, Milwaukee.
We just want some in your face, Milwaukee. And what you just said about Barron, the Texas corner, I mean, Packers fans would be elated.
Why don't you put your pants back on, Slappy?
So I'm just thinking at 23, right in front of 24.
And he won't even go out for coin tosses unless he's actually supposed to be there.
And there is your dagger!
Oh, that was beautiful. You know what, Green Bay? Just do whatever you want to do, okay? Because the quarterback's still going to throw off the back foot. Just do what you want to do, man. But just stay out of the gray area, boys. Stay out of the gray area, boys. So what I like the path Nordo went down. I'm going to make the A topic the other side of the ball. In my estimation, continuing to get the quarterback all the help he needs is very important. It's paramount for the Green Bay Packers. I happen to really like Iowa State wide receiver Jaden Higgins, and I think he would help them a ton in the red zone. Here's what you can learn about the aforementioned Cyclone from NFL.com. Big-bodied wideout with a wingspan of over 6'7", purposeful drive phase disguises comebacks and stops, runs routes with smooth strides and good balance, effective use of size to physically separated breaks, big-time talent to track and position himself on deep balls and fades, competes for catch space using focus and hand strength to win. Hands are natural, soft, and sudden. Gambarino! Now, the guy's 6'4". No! The guy's 6'4". All right. Now, he ain't the fastest thing in the world. They need a red zone threat who's not a tight end. I love Tucker Kraft. I'm lukewarm on Luke Musgrave, but I love Tucker Kraft. And you can do things with him in the red zone. And they run in the red zone, too, and Jacobs is really good in the red zone. This guy is the answer to their inside the 20, inside the 10, faded up to the big guy with the great body control and hands that are natural, soft, and sudden. Gambarino! So just stay away from Jaden Higgins. Just stay away from Jaden Higgins. All right. We don't all of a sudden need to have a fade game inside the red zone to Jaden Higgins. So let's stay away from that. And then that would avoid some divisional doom drafting. And it'd be
Thank you.
No bow dow dow on Jaden Higgins. Bow dow dow da da dow dow dow. No, Pack, no. The Sultan of Smug is around the corner. Wonder what old super special Cinny wants for the Packers at 23 and beyond. Let's talk to David Sinykin at TC Head Cheese via the X Machine when 9 to noon continues at FM 100.3 KFAN.
In your face, Milwaukee!
The Fan, along with BigDeck.com, want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword Bills. The keyword is Bills. Might win $1,000. Keyword is Bills at KFAN.com.
Catch the new Hulu original comedy, Mid-Century Modern, from the creators of Will and Grace, executive producer Ryan Murphy, and director James Burrows. When 3 best friends move in together, Palm Springs will never be the same. Bunny, Jerry, and Arthur are already close friends. But when they decide to live together, it's a new chapter with a new family. And speaking of family, don't forget Bunny's mom, Sybil, who's along for the ride. Whether it's a trip to Fire Island or a local congresswoman with a wild side, These roomies know how to do it with style. They're fun, they're fabulous, and they're turning life's lemons into spiked lemonade. So shake up a batch of cocktails, relax by the pool, and get ready for some serious shade. A new comedy with heart, soul, and sass. Mid-Century Modern stars Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, Nathan Lee Graham, and Linda Lavin. All episodes of Mid-Century Modern are now streaming on Hulu.
It's true that some things change as we get older. But if you're a woman over 40 and you're dealing with insomnia, brain fog, moodiness, and weight gain, you don't have to accept it as just another part of aging. And with MIDI Health, you can get help and stop pushing through it alone. The experts at MIDI understand that all these symptoms can be connected to the hormonal changes that happen around menopause, and MIDI can help you feel more like yourself again. Many healthcare providers aren't trained to treat or even recognize menopause symptoms. MIDI clinicians are menopause experts. They're dedicated to providing safe, effective, FDA-approved solutions for dozens of hormonal symptoms, not just hot flashes. Most importantly, they're covered by insurance. 91% of MIDI patients get relief from symptoms within just 2 months. You deserve to feel great. Book your virtual visit today at joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com.
9 to noon.
There we go, Paul! And he's
PA.
Oh, please.
NFL Draft. The head cheese.
Mike Trudell at Lakers Reporter via Twitter. He'll be joining about 11:20. The Timberwolves. So much going on right now. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. These are the good old days. Mike Trudell, Orono, Minnesota native, and a reporter for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's the sideline analyst for Lakers TV, and he'll be giving us some adversarial intel on the Lake Show about 11:20. But we stick with football for now. And here comes the Sultan of Smug, David Sinykin, at TC Head Cheese via the tweet machine. Packers and the 23. Who do you like and why?
Well, I was listening to your last segment, and you kind of read my mind. For me, Jahdae Barrett is the ultimate home run. I just look at the cornerback group and say, you got to get a stud. And so he'd be very high on my list. But, you're looking at edge, D-line, offensive line, dare I say wide receiver as well. It's going to be one of those 5 spots, but Barron's right now at the top of my wish list. I like the Hairston kid from Kentucky as well. And, this might be Kenny Clark's last year. You mentioned TJ Slayton's a Bengal. Walter Nolan from Ole Miss is a guy that I think they're interested in. He was in for a top 30 visit. Those would be my top choices, but I'm not dismissing the out-of-this-world idea that they might actually go wide receiver at 23 or maybe trade up a few spots to get the guy they want.
Yeah, it's from my standpoint, and your opinion with this matters more than mine, man. But I just the quarterback, all right, and keeping the focus on continuing to help the quarterback be as comfortable as he possibly can, and maybe that leads to offensive line. I don't think so. I think there are some receivers around there who could take a little pressure off of him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, look, they've lost Christian Watson for the lion's share of the season. This is Jordan Love's 3rd year as a starter. That was the year that Aaron Rodgers took his team to a Super Bowl, in his 3rd year as a starter. He had infinitely more talent around him at wide receiver on that 2010 Packers team with Driver and Jennings and Jordy Nelson and that whole group. What's really interesting to me, PA, they've had Ibuka and Matthew Golden in for top 30 visits, but when the Big 12 held their pro day, they did it as a conference, right? All the schools together, massive pro day for all the schools. But obviously guys have private workouts too. And when Arizona wide receiver Ted McMillan had a private workout, a bunch of scouts showed up, but only GM showed up, and it was Gutekunst. And I do think they have a lot of interest in Ted McMillan. He's popularly comped as a kind of a Drake London type of player. That's exactly the kind of receiver the Packers need. He's certainly projected perhaps to go as high as 10, 11, 12. But if he's fallen a bit to that 18, 19 range, I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers maybe move a third-round pick to jump up and get all the fans in Green Bay around the draft excited that they're actually going wide receiver for the first time since Javon Walker in 2002. That's the one guy I think they might move up to try to bring in because, to give him Jordan Love, a guy that can step right in and maybe take that number one receiver role, that's really important for this offense. You guys mentioned they've got Jacobs and Kraft and Jaden Reed and Dobbs, and they've got nice pieces, but they don't have a stud. And I think McMillan's the kind of guy that if he falls a little bit, they might just go up and grab.
Hey, where's your head at, Sinykin, on the O-line in terms of Rasheed Walker? Is he a long-term guy? You look at Sean Ryan and Zach Tom on the right side of that bit. Where are you at with the moving company and the potential of addressing that as another option and a path to supporting Jordan Love?
Yeah, it's on the table. They obviously went first round last year, offensive line with Jordan Morgan. He's going to compete for that left tackle job with Rasheed Walker this offseason. Walker is a former seventh-round pick. That's been a pretty sturdy left tackle. I mean, look at their tackles, a seventh-rounder and a fourth-rounder. And Zach Tom, the fourth-rounder, he's potential Pro Bowl-type talent. So they're, I think, confident in finding tackles later in the draft, but they won't. I mean, there's a guy they love at tackle in the first round. I wouldn't be shocked if they did it again. It'll be an interesting competition at left tackle with Walker in the last year of his deal and last year's first-round pick. But they brought in Aaron Banks from San Francisco to be the left guard. That moves Elton Jenkins to center. Ryan or Morgan will be your right guard, and Tom's at tackle. So they're fairly set with their starting five, but there's very little depth. They will address offensive line early in this draft, probably a couple of times. My hunch is they don't go first round for a second straight year on the offensive line. Again, they've had such success on day 3, but I won't be shocked if maybe that Ohio State kid, Simmons, is sitting there and they just say we can't pass on him. It's definitely something Green Bay's always going to focus on is the offensive line.
Okay, now, I apologize for missing this. I guess the deduction should have got me there. I knew about Banks, the San Francisco guard, but don't tell any of your Vikings friends that I said this. But, low-key, I'm an Elton Jenkins fan. I have been since he came into the game, man. He's tough. He makes most of the dances. When he doesn't play, it's a massive fall-off with whomever falls. Yeah. He's just a really, really solid player. So we're going to move him to center. And I'm not saying he can't do it because, maybe he has and, he's really, really good. But, wow, they're going to move him to center, really.
Yeah, obviously they let Josh Myers go. They didn't feel like he was a long-term answer. And, again, Packer fans look back at that draft when they wanted a center in the second round, and Creed Humphrey was the top-rated guy. And they passed on Humphrey and took Myers, and Humphrey went the very next pick to the Chiefs, and he's the best center in the game. So they could have really solved that issue a few drafts ago, but Jenkins has played center. He doesn't mind playing center. He likes it. He's obviously smart, veteran. It's not a slam dunk. Obviously, he's moving from a spot he's been really good at to now be the quarterback of the offensive line. I feel pretty confident, though, that he'll handle it. You're right. When he's been out with injury, the Packers' offensive line has really suffered. He's the veteran leader of that unit. I'm not really concerned about him moving to center. I am concerned about the money they paid Banks. They paid him like a really good player. We'll see if he's able. He's a really good run blocker, and Green Bay's offense is still going to revolve around the run with Josh Jacobs, and they want to make sure they've got peace up front to handle that. But, yeah, it's a question mark. Moving a guy that's been very successful at guard and put him in the middle. We'll see how it works. But for me, the interesting thing is that last year's first-round pick, Jordan Morgan, it was a lost season for him with a shoulder injury. If he can step in and win that left tackle spot, now you've got Walker as sort of swing guy. You've got some depth that you're comfortable with. So for me, the big question is, can Jordan Morgan win the left tackle job?
All right, hang on for a stupid question here, Sinykin. Josh Jacobs completely changed the face of that offense. Totally get it. You want to talk about a guy that has high miles on those tires, and he keeps showing up. I don't know how much you love Marshawn Lloyd. Is running back a part of any conversation as it pertains to the green and gold in the draft?
I don't think they'll draft one. I mean, they took Marshawn Lloyd, was it third round?
Third
round. Yeah, so it was like the second or third running back drafted last year. They have really high hopes. This guy, you look at his tape at Southern Cal or South Carolina, man, he is a beast. I was so excited for him last season. And again, injuries robbed him of that season. So I kind of feel like he is their rookie running back this year. I would be, maybe they go for a gadgety kind of receiver, that could complement those two guys. But I guess I'd be surprised. I know it's a deep draft for running backs this year. But Green Bay only has 8 picks right now. That's light for them. I think I'd be surprised if they took one this year.
David Sinykin at TC Head Cheese via the tweet machine. He's the Sultan of Smug. Packer preview during the football season, very, very, very early on Sunday mornings. And we're going to get to basketball here in a minute to close this thing. But do you and Double T and Greg Popovich, do you have an In the Zone this Saturday at 8 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. Yeah, you guys are on fire right now, man.
We're always there, unless the Gopher football team's playing at 11. We're always going to be there Saturdays.
Correct. Well, the Gopher football team plays a fair amount at 11, so that's why I asked the question. All right, okay, 3-2. There was no shot intended there. Like, only bad teams play early, so let's everybody stop trying to put the old announcer in a box and just let me unfurl this final super special Packers question. The LaFleur and Goody, just truly how secure are they? Is like, I don't follow, like Packers chat boards or like Bill Michaels' reaction to his Packer segments and stuff like that. So like fans generally head the way of, if this doesn't work this way this year with LaFleur and Goody, I'm pulling my tickets. Realistically speaking, LaFleur and Goody, how secure are they?
Yeah, I don't think I'd call the seats warm today. I think this is a really important season for both of them, more so for LaFleur, I would say. Look, they have the youngest roster in football the last 2 seasons. At some point, that's a really nice thing to say, but if you think you're a potential Super Bowl contender, that's not something you need to lead the league in, is having the youngest guys on your team. So I give them maybe a bit of a pass that they've put young rosters on the field, and they've been in the playoffs the last couple of years, and they're a year removed from winning a road playoff game in Dallas. But I think this is all about Jordan Love this year. To take that step in his third year as a starter, that's on LaFleur to make that happen. I think the roster that they put around Love is very strong. Again, I'd like a little bit more firepower at receiver. Watson's injury, that thing's in flux. But bringing Jeff Hafley over, change over that defense, I think made this team so much stronger. You guys mentioned Ezraku last segment. That's another guy. He played for Hafley at Boston College. I know he'll be pounding the table if they're looking for an edge rusher to add him to the mix. They've given Hafley a lot of pieces to make that defense better, which I think has cooled the seat for LaFleur, because I just think the team is more competitive because the defense is so much stronger. We all know the division's really strong. There's not a bad team in it. It's not going to be easy. And if things don't go well this year and injuries can't be talked to as a reason, then yeah, the seat might warm up, especially for LaFleur. New president coming in, Mark Murphy's retiring this summer. Ed Policy's going to take over. I don't see him making a major move right out of the gate. But if things don't go real well this year, the seats might begin to warm a little. But as we sit here in April, to me, both of their seats are pretty cool.
You're hailing the Hal, correct?
Oh, of course.
All right, 3 questions. You get 30 seconds to answer each of them, and you get it all. Wolves at Lakers. Who do you like and why?
I actually like the Wolves. I do. I just think the depth they have, the height and the size they have, is going to make things difficult for LA. I worry, of course, about the whistles, the fouls that Luka and LeBron are going to get, and the respect that the officials give those guys. And I wonder about the Wolves reacting on the court to some whistles. I just hope maturity-wise they're ready for this. But talent-wise, I do think they match up well. Double T talked me into it last Saturday. The Lakers were his preferred opponent for the Wolves. He feels they match up well. But they're going to have to grow up, and they're going to have to really handle the business on the court. But I think 1 through 8, I like the Wolves roster better, and I think they match up very well against the Lakers.
Okay, well now off the just the starters, not the top 8. You know, we're not going to get down to Jonathan Goodwin and Gabe Vincent and Nas and stuff like that. Who has the better starting lineup and why?
Well, I'd probably give it to the Lakers. You've got 2 Hall of Famers on your team that know how to play this time of year. So I'll give the edge to L.A. Because of those 2 guys. And I just think Austin Reeves is going to be a problem. I don't know that Conley can handle him. Maybe Ant gets a lot of attention with him. But he frightens me a little bit. I mean, he's really become a really nice offensive player. When those other guys get so much attention, he's up to the challenge. I want to make sure the Wolves can handle Austin Reeves as kind of that third wheel. But yeah, I mean, with Luka and LeBron, the starting 5, I'll give them a slight edge. But, you know, you got to play more than 5. And how many minutes is LeBron going to play? I know they're giving them days and days off between games to make sure LeBron's ready for each game. But he's still got some juice left. This might be his last run. You're going to have a very motivated LeBron. And with him and Luka together, I'll give the Lakers an edge in the starting 5.
Lastly,
#FaithRadio.
Tell me if you think this matters. It's J.J. Redick's first playoff series as a head coach.
I don't think it matters a lot. Yes, to a degree, but I think he's a smart enough guy. He's been around basketball enough. But, yeah, I mean, he hasn't had to, pull the right strings and go in front of a locker room before a Game 6 on the road. Maybe that matters a little bit. I don't think it's something that's going to move the needle a whole heck of a lot. I just think that, what's going to move the needle is Ant being Ant in the playoffs and the Lakers not having an answer. But, yeah, I'll give it edge to Finchie because he's had more playoff experience, but it's not something that would put a big red check on the Wolves side. I don't think it's a big needle mover.
Appreciate you, my brother, and assumedly I'll see you in 8 days for the Big Power Trip mock draft.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Yep, see you, bud. That's David Sinykin and at TC Head Cheese for those of you of the green and gold variety. The A topic out of that for yours truly is Green Bay is taking its best offensive lineman, Elton Jenkins, and changing his position.
So that would be Catch the new Hulu original comedy, Mid-Century Modern, from the creators of Will and Grace, executive producer Ryan Murphy, and director James Burrows. When 3 best friends move in together, Palm Springs will never be the same. Bunny, Jerry, and Arthur are already close friends. But when they decide to live together, it's a new chapter with a new family. And speaking of family, don't forget Bunny's mom, Sybil, who's along for the ride. Whether it's a trip to Fire Island or a local congresswoman with a wild side, these roomies know how to do it with style. They're fun, they're fabulous, and they're turning life's lemons into spiked lemonade. So shake up a batch of cocktails, relax by the pool, and get ready for some serious shade. A new comedy with heart, soul, and sass. Mid-Century Modern stars Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, Nathan Lee Graham, and Linda Lavin. All episodes of Mid-Century Modern are now streaming on Hulu.
It's true that some things change as we get older. But if you're a woman over 40 and you're dealing with insomnia, brain fog, moodiness, and weight gain, you don't have to accept it as just another part of aging. And with MIDI Health, you can get help and stop pushing through it alone. The experts at MIDI understand that all these symptoms can be connected to the hormonal changes that happen around menopause. And MIDI can help you feel more like yourself again. Many healthcare providers aren't trained to treat or even recognize menopause symptoms. MIDI clinicians are menopause experts. They're dedicated to providing safe, effective, FDA-approved solutions for dozens of hormonal symptoms, not just hot flashes. Most importantly, they're covered by insurance. 91% of MIDI patients get relief from symptoms within just 2 months. You deserve to feel great. Book your virtual visit today at joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com.
L for today.
News du Nord brought to you by V Casino at Canterbury Park, canterburypark.com. Feeling the felt with some poker, some blackjack, some table games. I love 3-card poker, by the way, and you can play that at Canterbury Park. You got a lot of things you can play, but 3-card poker, the ability either to me having to go up to the press box after 20 minutes and ask Uncle Paul for some money, or I'm swimming in cash. Wow. The ebbs and flows of 3-card poker, I adore it. And you can play that and many other games. Live racing in the spring is kicking off next month as well, so looking forward to that. CanterburyPark.com.
I love 3-card poker also.
It's sweet.
That's so awesome that you said that. I had a something to record for Teddy P yesterday, kind of a spot about the 25 years of the casino, the card casino. And so I stopped and played a little 3-card poker and hit my first hand. All right. I was so out of touch with 3-card poker. I had a straight. Okay. But the dealer turned over a flush. And then I'm like, oh, damn.
Right.
Straight beats flush. Boom. In 3-card poker. Hey!
#faith
Well, and
radio.
that's the cool thing, too, by the way, because you won't get this everywhere. But at Canterbury, they have really cool dealers as well. Mm-hmm. So when I've played some of the games, you jump into like a pie gow or something for the first time. You need a little help from the dealer.
There you go.
With 3-card, you got a dealer there that is going to help you understand, like, this is what you're hitting with the second bet, all of those things. How good are the swings, though? Yeah. You can be down to your last $20 and suddenly you're up 500. Or obviously it can go the other way. But the swings of 3-card, I love it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because having worked at Canterbury as long as I have and know as many people as I do, the employees, generally speaking, are happy to come to work. They're happy to come to work. They're happy with the people for whom they work. They treat the customers with dignity and with respect. And you don't feel like you're completely on the grind when you walk in the building like, oh, hey, wow.
Correct.
I feel like I should just drop $500 right here and burn it and just leave. It's not like that. So there's a wonderful feel at Canterbury Park, and we love when you come to play. Thank you very much.
Although I will say, when I walk in, and you can tell me this, it's fine. You've known me. Do I look like a guy that would appreciate a good cold beverage? Because I feel like I am a human beer magnet. I can't get to the first table before I'm being asked if I would like an ice cold tall Summit.
Right.
And I say yes every single time. Sips at Chips. Do it, CanterburyPark.com.
Keep listening to 9 to noon.
Where is it?
Thanks for listening to KFAN.
Oh, wait.
You're listening to 9 to noon.
Where's my dad? Oh.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
Yeah, I don't know
Look
where
here, kid.
those.
Everybody calls it KFAN. Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Paul on KFAN.
The Minnesota Timberwolves playoff schedule has been released, and this is one of the good things. Well, it's frustrating if you're impatient, but one of the good things of playing the Lakers, PA.
Yeah.
You got Saturday at 7:30, and then you don't play again until Tuesday, so you get a couple days off.
That's special.
Then Game 3 isn't until next Friday.
Okay.
PA, late one, 8:30 p.m. Central. That'll be Game 3 back here in Minneapolis, and then you'll get the Sunday game, the matinee, the afternoon game. Still waiting to hear more specifics in terms of a potential Game 1 time for the Minnesota Wild and Vegas Golden Knights out in the 702. But
just real quick.
Yes.
You're listening to my dad and Uncle Paul on the fan.
I found it. Thank you, Stella.
So line up your schedules. It has been released. People wondering, hey, will there be watch parties? Will there be bits going on where you're home for the Howl? The first 4 games have been announced. And when you're playing against the Lakers, you get a couple of days off in between almost every freaking game. So Saturday at 7:30 is Game 1. You'll get to hear that right here on your home for the Howl, the fan. Now, with that said,
I backed up Gorgie and Trudell 4 minutes, so we're good.
Okay, to the NBA play-in-a-thon.
Yeah.
The Magic just absolutely dismantled the Hawks last night. Trae Young, they were down like 20 at the time. I get it, but 5 minutes left in the game, he kind of had a freak out.
What a child.
He was explaining after the game that didn't like how the whistles were going. His guy, Dyson Daniels, NBA Universe, get to know him. He's a stud. He deserves whistles when fouls are called. Kind of lost his mind a little bit, but the Hawks they're not completely out of it yet, as they will face the winner of the Heat and the Bulls tonight. So the battle for the 8th seed is upon us. The Magic will match up in the 7th spot against the Celtics, but it'll be Hawks and then the winner of Heat Bulls. That'll be a Friday night game. So if you're watching that, then on our side of things, Jimmy, kind of talking about it, he's been kind of an L. He's still Jimmy.
Yeah.
He went for almost 40 last night, completely dominated the game.
The offense ran through him, not Steph. I mean, he was the A topic last night.
He was so good. Desmond Bane did his thing, 30-plus as well, but they fell. The Grizz did, 121-116, which means they will play the winner of Mavs and Kings tonight. Without looking at it, from my standpoint, feels like the -4.5 is a little heavy on the side of the Kings.
It's at Dallas?
It is in Sacramento. I get that.
Yeah.
But you are going to get your AD. You are going to get your best from PJ Washington and company.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, it's DeMontis, and they're still trying to get healthy in the big spots. But 4.5 feels a little heavy for this one tonight. I don't know.
I hope Dallas wins. And
Me too.
I hope Dallas wins for that fan base. I mean,
they need it.
They went to the NBA Finals last year and got completely murdered. And then Luka's gone. General manager can't even sit in his regular seat at home games. He gets cussed so much. So Anthony Davis, the Mavericks embarrassed themselves when Luka and the Lakers came to Big D within the last week and change. When the game got out of hand, they were just letting Luka make layups, and it was just a farce.
Here's what I'll say, though, and he deserves probably a lot of the vitriol that's taking place, fair or not. Some of it fair with Nico Harrison. I think is the GM. He did not leave the tunnel as Luka was going off for 45. And the entire crowd was chanting, "Fire Nico."
Yeah.
He stood out there.
Yeah.
He didn't hide. He owned it. He ate it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the offseason or the future looks like. There's going to be some tough meetings probably in the offseason for them. I am rooting for Dallas,
Me
though.
too.
Win tonight.
Yeah.
Beat the Grizz on Friday. And you're in the 8th seed for the chance to lose in 5 to the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, it's too bad Kyrie Irving was lost for the season because the plan that this GM has, it's not the plan because Kyrie Irving was a big part of the plan.
Correct.
To go with the bigs. Now Gafford's back, Lively's back, PJ Washington's back. They got Anthony Davis with a little bit of rest. They'll be tough, but without Kyrie, it's going to be very difficult. But I just want a little slack to be taken off that general manager, so maybe we could see the plan and what it looks like in the postseason. Just a quick aside, Trae Young has some punk to him, man. I don't watch Atlanta Hawks basketball a lot. Trae's good. Trae's got some big box score to him. He can also shoot you out of a game. He was embarrassing last night, and here's why. Because he kept pestering Magic guards Anthony Black and Cole Anthony. Well, finally, this Anthony Black character got frustrated with Trae, and he wanted to go. They were bumping each other. Trae wanted nothing to do with it. Just kept walking. So, you know what, Trae? All right, you're super smart, man. It's a play-in. You don't want to be suspended. No stupid stuff. Nah, I know what I saw. You wanted nothing to do with fighting Anthony Black. So there's that. Secondly, he got thrown out. How about this childish high school, middle school-like move? He gets a tee. He refused to give the basketball to the ref.
Yeah, that's how he got bounced.
So he goes walking away, and then the ref thinks he's throwing the ball to him. He puts reverse English on it, so he spins it super hard as he throws it, and it comes back to Trae. It's like a yo-yo. It's like a boomerang.
Well, and that was after he rifled a chest pass at a referee in the first place.
Wow.
So he gets the tee for the heavy chest pass and then plays that game.
Yeah, and then he's walking away. It literally was, I'm taking my ball and going home.
Yeah.
What a child. Seriously, man, what a child.
I will say this, that who has he played with? Ultimately, he had DeJounte, I know that, and DeJounte rising. Sands injury, of course, now in New Orleans.
Well, I ain't saying Trey ain't good.
But no, well, that's what I'm thinking about, because that's a guy that was standing at the center of MSG, dunking on the freaking Knicks a few years ago. Like that, he's so good.
Yep.
But they have, the Clint Capella clomping around, John Collins, stuff like that. This Dyson Daniels might be a stud.
Yep.
But he has had some rough rosters around him.
They better hope, Trey better hope Miami doesn't win tonight. Because what Spoelstra will do to Young off what he's seen should be a felony in 48 states. I mean, he will have him on tilt about 2.5 minutes into the game.
And last thing here, Nico Harrison, don't mean to continue to pile on him. You know what else he did? He may have traded away Luka. Tough beat with Kyrie Irving injury. He traded away Quentin Grimes, PA. Traded away Quentin Grimes.
Oh, he went Dallas, Philly, not Toronto, Philly.
Dallas, Philly.
Wow.
Traded away Quentin Grimes.
Well,
if that's not fireable, I don't know what is.
Well, you think you couldn't use him now with no Kyrie?
Are you kidding me?
Wow. All right. Minnesota Wild advanced to the playoffs. On that, Kevin Gorg from FanDuel Sports Network joins us around the corner. Then some Wolves and Lakers conversation with Minnesotan Mike Trudell, who is a TV reporter for the Los Angeles Lakers. Thanks for listening to 9 to Noon at FM 100.3 KFAN.
Hello, darlings. Pack your suitcase for a new season of the Hulu original reality series Vanderpump Villa.
Let's do this. Ciao, it's Stassi. Of course Lisa brought in her favorite to be resident chaperone of the castle.
Stassi is an icon.
She's my eyes and ears.
I love this.
Get ready for the luxury and drama that awaits us in Italy.
Cheers to all the toxic couples in the castle.
Season 2 of Vanderpump Villa premieres April 24th.
Streaming on Hulu.
It's true that some things change as we get older. But if you're a woman over 40 and you're dealing with insomnia, brain fog, moodiness, and weight gain, you don't have to accept it as just another part of aging. And with MIDI Health, you can get help and stop pushing through it alone. The experts at MIDI understand that all these symptoms can be connected to the hormonal changes that happen around menopause. And MIDI can help you feel more like yourself again. Many healthcare providers aren't trained to treat or even recognize menopause symptoms. MIDI clinicians are menopause experts. They're dedicated to providing safe, effective, FDA-approved solutions for dozens of hormonal symptoms, not just hot flashes. Most importantly, they're covered by insurance. 91% of MIDI patients get relief from symptoms within just 2 months. You deserve to feel great. Book your virtual visit today at joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com.